Bitcoin is still trading in a massive downtrend, and on today's update video, I'm gonna be talking about the most important support levels laying below us right now, and I will be discussing some massive signals which are flashing on the market right now. So I will be discussing this and many other very important charts. So without any further ado, don't forget to once again slap on that like button back above 800 likes. That will be highly appreciated. And with that being said, let me jump straight away in towards the content. So currently, Bitcoin is creating a massive downtrend. Bitcoin is creating this downward sloping support line, and basically every single time once we have been touching this level, we have seen Bitcoin bouncing from this level. And yes, it also happened yesterday while we were seeing another big push towards the downside. This was exactly the level where Bitcoin found support. And I will be extending this level because I do think that if we are going to be continuing the downtrend and we're going to be potentially retesting this level again, we're most likely going to get the bounce from that downward sloping support line. So if I want to be opening up a new trade, I think I'm going to be definitely interested to do so on this downward sloping support line. And basically what we're seeing is that currently Bitcoin is creating lower lows together with lower highs. And basically, we're trading in a very significant downtrend. And this trend is actually quite clear because you can clearly draw a downward sloping resistance line from the top side where we actually saw multiple rejections from, to be exact, 3 rejections in a row. And I do believe that whenever we do break above the downward sloping resistance line, that is the point where the downtrend is going to get reversed and where we're going to be seeing that larger scale recovery towards the upside, because ultimately the majority of the liquidity is still laying below us. So I don't really believe that we should be falling for this massive move towards the downside, because I believe that this is a slight little trap here in the market because we're still creating that majority of the liquidity above us sitting around 72 to 74,000 US dollars. And also considering the fact that if we're currently looking at the funding rates, they have once again flipped negative. And the last time once the funding rates flipped negative, it actually was a very good buying opportunity. And for the people that don't know how funding rates work, once the majority of the market goes short, we're going to be seeing negative funding rates. And if the majority of the market goes long, we're going to be seeing positive funding rates. So if more people in the market are leaning towards the short side, we're most likely going to get a short squeeze. And that is currently what is happening. And that is what you can also see on this chart right here. Whenever it's red on this graph, it is basically indicating that the funding rates are negative. And once the funding rates are negative, it is historically speaking a very good buying opportunity. You could use this indicator yourself as well on TradingView. All you need to do for that is go to indicators, search on CRYPTOSEA, and you can find the funding rate indicator, which is completely for free to use. So if you're going to be using that, make sure to do so. But currently, basically, Bitcoin is trading in a downtrend until we don't anymore. So what we should be looking at right now is the downward sloping support line, the downward sloping resist line, and basically once we break above the resist line, that is the point we're going to be seeing a bigger reversal. But as long as that is happening, I will remain to be believing that we're going to be just continuing in this massive downtrend we are currently already sitting in. So also, another day went by with another negative flow on the spot Bitcoin ETF. Yesterday, we saw over 100 million US dollars flowing out on the spot Bitcoin ETF. And once again, loads of it coming from Fidelity, because Fidelity was one of the larger buyers 2 weeks ago, and they're now one of the largest outflows. And honestly, I don't necessarily think that the outflows are all too bad here for Bitcoin. Of course, overall, if we're going to be zooming out, we can clearly see that the majority of the spot Bitcoin ETF, we've seen inflows, and currently we're still having more than $14.5 billion in net inflow. So it is still looking quite okay in my opinion. And honestly, this slight little outflow is not bad. It's just flushing out the weekends, the people that are not here for the long run. Because I mean, once I bought my first Bitcoin, I've even not sold it right now because I am here for that long term. Because I bought my first Bitcoin like 7 to 8 years ago almost. It was sitting around $1,400, and my intention was holding it at least for 10 years to make life-changing wealth. And yeah, 10 years later, 8 years later, it is already up more than 40x or 30x from that point. So if you invest in a long-term horizon, the chances that you're going to be making life-changing returns are only going to be bigger. And currently with Bitcoin, we're just creating a new consolidation phase. We're creating this upper sloping support line. We have so far not retested it yet, but I do believe that if Bitcoin touches this level, sitting around 62,000 US dollars, I believe we could be creating a very strong reaction back towards the upside. This is just the massive next pattern that Bitcoin is creating. We're consolidating around all-time highs. We're consolidating below all-time high, I should say. And Bitcoin has been already trading above $60,000 for such a long time, to be exact, for over 120 days here. Bitcoin is just seeing one of the most bullish consolidations. You can see that we are having a massive run towards the upside. Now we're creating this ascending triangle, and we're just getting ready for that next leg towards the upside, if you would ask me here. So yeah, if Bitcoin goes down a little bit lower, what are my targets? I think that $62,000 is going to be a very likely target Bitcoin is going to be bouncing from. And if we don't hold that, we still also have the lower side of the region, which is laying around $60,000. But I do think that that is a little bit too bearish of a target in my opinion. And I think that Bitcoin is already going to be bouncing from that 62K level. And yeah, if we're bouncing from there, we're also on the bigger perspective, still creating a higher low. And that is only making this trend even more healthy in my opinion. So there's nothing bad happening on Bitcoin right now. I am still holding my trade open. Well, a lot of people are saying to me that I should close my trade, but honestly, I'm just going to be holding it open because I do believe that ultimately Bitcoin is going to be grabbing that liquidity on the top side, and it's going to be happening very fast once it does happen. And once it does happen, I'm going to be extremely happy because I've been saying this so many times right now in the market. Bitcoin always follows the liquidity, and currently, the majority of the liquidity is being built up above us, so it's going to be just extremely likely that Bitcoin is going to be going higher. And for the people that are wondering, but what about my altcoins? Are my altcoins also going to be going higher? If I'm looking at the Bitcoin dominance on the monthly time frame, we're just creating a massive rising wedge pattern, and I believe also that altcoin season is literally about to be happening next, especially once Bitcoin breaks out on this massive consolidation phase we're currently creating, and we're just going to be seeing that continuation towards $100,000, which I think is definitely inevitable. We're going to be most certainly see altcoin season really getting initiated with the Bitcoin dominance creating that rising wedge pattern right now here. So things are looking good in my opinion. All we need to do is stay resilient and stay patient. That is all we need to do right now here. So this was it for me in today's video. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to slap a like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.